If I think of the Libertines as being me, Carl, Gary and John, and that being the ultimate combination of magic, then I'm fucked, you know? For me, I can only think of it as one of the very few opportunities I've had in my life to pretty much perfectly express myself.
People say put aside your differences. Our differences are our relationship. Can't really put that aside. I miss him bitterly, but such is the nature of both of our relationships. I can't choose when I'm going to get Peter I need.
People might say, is there another record in the offing?
Well, that's normal. We
That's normal.
We want that. We just roughly want to stick on the subject. As long as they're happy, we're happy.
Yeah.
They're looking a bit like, you know, I don't want to just any moves.
What we've said to all members of the band is that if they want to do things individually afterwards, then they're free to do it. And if they don't want to, then they're happy.
It's just an immature way of showing his love, I thought. Or maybe he just doesn't like my love. There it is again! Wow, look at that!
There's a gentleman down there with his hand up. Do you want to stand up maybe and give us a loud question?
Melvin Ben said there's been a lot of hard work to get you all back into the same room together.
It's a fucking nightmare. He lives in Denmark. He never answered his phone.
Get on a stage and say, we're the Libertines, and it be real, and we mean it, with two crooked fingers, heartrending.
We've always communicated with each other successfully through music. That's how and why we're together. And sorry.
Cheers!
Cheers. She's in voice.
You don't know who you're looking at, now just you look at me. I'm a bit of a knob, I am belong to royalty. I'll tell you how it got about, I married widow Birch. I was King of England when we trotted out to church. Outside the people started shouting in hooray. Said I go down upon your knees, it's coronation day. I'm Henry the Eighth, I am. Henry the Eighth, I am. I got married to the widow next door. She'd been married 7 times before. Everyone was a Henry. She wouldn't have a Willie or a Sam. I'm a race old man named Henry. Henry the Eighth I am.
It was nerve-wracking, but then I knew that what we had to do was easy, because what we had to do was ingrained in my body, and this is what we'd done so much before, and what I was meant to do was all there. I was excited.
It's called the Smithies.
That was the next street up, Meek Street.
And it's the next street up from Field Street.
I missed the boys, I missed all the boys really. You know? I missed Pete dearly, and I look forward to that relationship which can only exist with us in that situation. If we don't, all 4 of us, pace ourselves throughout these gigs,
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be mental. Last night we could fucking let loose.
I hadn't actually seen the guys in the band for quite a few years, probably 2-3 years, let alone played music with them.
Everything alright there, Gal?
Yeah, everything's
Looking a little bit rough there, Gary.
Just feeling a little tired.
I was happier to see Pete, Carl and Jan. Just to see them than I was at that point in time to be considering performing shows.
Show my luck.
How dare you?
I didn't get right. Dollar bill, yeah. Dollar bill, yeah. Yeah, I bought them for £4 each.
He's always been good with numbers.
First stop was the bucket shop to pick the pieces of your life up and scream looking glass at all that you despise. You're thinking back to the chicken shack and the smashing of the glass and the knife in the back. Well, my boy, who will believe your lies, all your lies? And no one's going to sell you any alibis.
You know, it was an immense occasion. Carl bought a round of drinks.
Listen, I've told you once. I've told you.
Say it was me.
Sorry, I can't hear anything.
No, it's me.
Who is it?
Me.
Oh, cool one. I knew you were the cool one. We both get equally nervous when we see each other after a long period of time. Pete will normally say something that's vaguely humorous, but usually just disguising some kind of barbed nastiness. I guess I'll try and say something that dampens it, but then I can't help myself but reciprocate a little bit as well. And then as soon as we manage to sort of temper the defensive nastiness out of it, then yeah, I guess we're back. It's a funny relationship, I'm gonna say. We first met when I was at Brunel. I didn't do a great deal of studying, and I was best friends with his sister, Amy Jo. She had this brother who, a bit of a face back home in this small town, was sort of an aspiring poet, wanted to learn guitar.
I didn't really know anyone that was actually any good at a guitar. Everyone just grew their hair like Liam Gallagher and started bands, but no one could actually do anything that was particularly interesting. And then when I met Carl, he was actually gifted on the guitar. I literally used to sit at his feet, and I was hungry for knowledge. I wanted to know how he did that, and how he did this.
Dohertys have got a special gift for painting people in a very beautiful, slightly romanticised and exaggerated light. Pete summed me up as a self-educated working class from the estates, which, each bit true in its own way, but not many people would really sort of string those things together and use that to represent a person. So I found that quite charming. He'd asked if I could learn guitar part for this charming man out on the teaching when he came up to visit, and I didn't know anything about the Smiths, so naturally I went and worked out Charmless Man by Blur.
Hi, man. You alright?
Started going, I'm a Tim in a crowded room. Oh God, this bloke hasn't even heard the Smiths. And he hadn't heard the Smiths, and he hadn't heard the Suede, but even that really quite attracted me to him as well, because he was just this who is he?
What I was nervous about was playing the songs wrong, because Pete was actually the taskmaster in the band. He was like the Miles Davis character who, or James Brown, whoever it is, who got angry about that sort of thing. Wasn't happy about bum notes.
You're playing wrong chord.
Take a while. Okay, go on. 489 Holloway Road. Yeah, it used to be a brothel that we used to live in. They cleaned it up a bit. To me, it would always be a hotbed of iniquity. People used to come and they used to phone up that phone box over there, and then they could look out the window to make sure they were safe. And then when they come over, and me and Pete used to have to sit in the bedroom and talk really gruff and loud. Right, mate, you're a fact, you're right, and we used to have this pathetic sort of pop gun. You know, if it ever came to it, we'd get out and... But never came to it. There you go. I used to sleep in a little bedroom at the top, on the middle window. I used to sleep in a big black iron cage. Things did get better. Yeah, it's funny because we're so totally surrounded by everything to do with the music industry. Didn't know anything about it. Apparently, like we're like enemy journalists downstairs and a photographer, and a metropolis next door. I mean, I wouldn't know what any of that meant really. All we knew about was the comings and goings of the brothel trade.
It was always a certain thing would happen that would change everything. Like, I spent so many years behind barbed wire, and you know, literally regimented, that when I'd, you know, get a fleeting chance to experience just liberty, just being able to be myself and go where I wanted, when I wanted, it was, I think I just stood up one day in class and walked out the class and just kept walking.
My whole life was a sort of romantic tapestry in the basements of the Albion rooms. Just us and our little sort of island of Bohemia in dreams.
We dug deeper in the end, and we just found this other London of vice and dope dens and parks and tramps, and we both were really desperate to get out of, you know, the only England we'd ever been presented with, you know.
We'd always fall out quite a lot. It was usually sort of bickery stuff. You know, I've always been quite cantankerous. It reached fever pitch when he was drinking a massive bottle of mineral water. At the time, I found that very poncy, that he had mineral water. But his parents had brought it from Germany, and he was drinking it, slagging me off, sort of like leaning against a cooker. And I remember I kicked it out of his mouth, and that's when he got really angry and upset. And then he phoned the police, and then the police came round, and they said, "All right, well, what's going on here?" And then we were like, "Well, I'm not talking." And they were like, "Well, I'm not talking to you either." And then they went, so what do you do?" And I went, "I'm an actor." And then they went to Peter, "What do you do?" He went, "I'm a poet."
Check this out, look, hang on, wait a minute.
You've got an illuminated magnetic grabber.
Yeah, that purse. Cool.
Yeah.
Chainman.
Always purse.
Presents for everybody.
I don't believe the dreams, and why not? You know, I mean,
There it is.
all sort of stereotypes and cliches come from a kind of reality, which I think we were looking to sort of source, and they'll come true.
I'll get that from selected petrol station. So it's for the forum, use it at the forum. Oh, thanks, man.
I remember like when we first played songs together, I think we were at Mortlake train station, and the first time I'd ever really played him, I think I played him this song I've written, which later became a song called The Domestic. Yeah, my original lyrics were, "John Lennon came down to me today," which is fucking laughable, really, in hindsight. And, you know, Pete very tactfully just presented something else.
Things that he was reading about in books and dipping his toe into the water, but not really expressing himself. Just, it sounds a bit daft, but just, you know, poetry and poetry being an expression of the soul, and it not just being on the page, you know, as you're living your life, but like following your dream.
learned a lot from Pete about lyrics and songwriting and whatnot along the way, you know, as he did with me in playing the guitar, I suppose. I don't think I'll ever have a songwriting partner special as Peter, and I don't ever have that chemistry again. You don't think you find that twice in a lifetime.
When a strong idea comes out of him in one go, I'm normally left just like adding literally one line. Like France or Narcissus, things like that, I just literally add a line or play a bit of guitar part. And you just pick up the guitar and or ba 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 ba, and it just comes out like that.
Have a salt beef and a cup of tea, please. Yeah. Oh, no, by all means. Thanks, man.
I love your solo.
Oh, cheers, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Can we have egg mayonnaise? Yeah, but there's more stuff to add.
No, is someone serving you?
Someone did take my order, yeah.
I'd stay with them, darling. Next one, please.
That's for life. Here it is, in all its glory. The funny thing about this whole area, I mean, not so much Brick Lane, but Shoreditch itself, I mean, it was rough as arse back in the day, and I think about artists come out and they find such a skanky area and the community develops, and I guess that's how Shoreditch started. I think at the very heart of that was the Foundry. Me and Pete used to have a night there called Arcadia at the Foundry, and it used to be just like random artists, but like proper artists, used to like, have little happenings, and like, just like let off dynamite and stuff in the old bank vault downstairs, and just like drink absinthe and all that lot. I used to play the piano while the poetry was going on, but literally like this. It was all, you know, we knew it was a black. We used to get free Guinness, and then it got commercial and became what it is now. It's just like unrecognisable. Now they've evicted the people who sell the Foundry, so like they've basically cut out their own heart. But it's just so typical. I mean, like responsible for this whole area and everything that happened. Yeah, and it's so unceremoniously just got surgically removed. And that's a shame.
There was kind of days when people didn't show up to the rehearsals. It was slightly kind of disconcerting, you know, that's just the way it goes.
The ideal girl in London from France.
What time did you get here?
2, and then we found out at 4:30 that Pete was asleep. So same old shit, really.
The first like resurgence of, you know, my paranoid, like hopeless state, which normally comes after 4 days up when I can't get to the rehearsal, you know. And back in the day, that would have been like that would have just gone on without me. But now it was different. It was like, oh, you can't make the rehearsal. Don't worry, we'll see you tomorrow. I can't tell you what kind of relief that was, you know?
It's quite simple. If Pete doesn't sleep, then Pete doesn't turn up. Or if he goes to bed, then all of these things which dogged our past in the last 10 years, all of these emotions and things that make people run off stage and things that make us think we're second-guessing each other, I've learned that that goes away when you go to sleep. It's taken us a long time to realise why people go to bed.
We used to drink in Camden, the Dublin Castle and the Mix. There was a guy down there called Scarborough Steve, and he said, John, you gotta meet these guys called Pete and Carl. I'm in a band with them. This was a very tall guy in the garden stroking my cat, and it was Pete. And he introduced himself, and then later Carl came down and we were just jamming with the guitars. I think that's kind of what sold it to them, was that Scarborough Steve had told them that I had a lot of guitars. I just wanted to play bass in a band, and these guys had some great songs, really good songs. Normally, when I join a band, you sort of vacillate for months on end before you do anything. A couple of days after I met them, we played our first gig in a basement. And then Pete was like, okay, we're going to record. And I was like, wow, okay.
You put your love upon me, though I was but poor.
Diane Pucci was our first manager. I mean, our first serious manager. She's the one who managed the Libertines in the old days when we'd play around little pubs and clubs and lug our amps on the 134. When Banny found us, we were these romantic, troubadour-esque, living totally hand-to-mouth. We were living in adventure, with a firm belief that with our passion and pretty melodies and song and conviction, then we'd be able to conquer and do what we did for our people.
Watch out for those foreign girls. They never seem to make much sense.
After a while, things just started to fall apart. Pete was always very flighty, and I was kind of flighty with him, really. The drummer and the bass player eventually just got sick of, you know, they'd found a gig, we didn't come, we found a gig, we said, be there now. And then we sort of split up. And Pete and I, obviously, what was the point of us splitting up? Then we realised that we weren't going to get by just singing sweet lullabies and meadows. We did have a lot of all the anger and everything, you know. That's like, personally, I tried to sort of hide that from the music we did. I just guess we realised that open the floodgates and say it how it is, really.
Now, in the beginning, Pete and Carl, they pulled me in really, really quickly. Those guys, I think, had gotten to a point where it was like, yeah, we need to really, really do this if we're going to do this at all. And if we are going to do this with me, Gary, then he needs to be involved as much as possible. I kept on, like, just overemphasizing the point, we need to get a bass player, we need to get a bass player. And I can't remember either one of them said, well, we could get John Dale bass player. And I said, just do it.
Banny, she kind of made it clear that, you know, that it was a different band in many respects. That was the first kind of debut, really, as a new band.
Right, let's just write a new list. Yeah. Honestly, John, for like the most zen member of the band, you don't have to start the most scraps.
I'm not zen.
Evidently not, no. Mr. Lombard.
Gary Half-Job Powell. Got paper, but no pen. Got penis, but no balls.
Harry. So, start off with your horror show.
So, horror show.
Death on the Stairs.
Horror show, yeah, it's kind of, I say it's 90%.
Let's get 100 today. Death on the Stairs. Okay. Don't Look Back.
Don't Look Back, we haven't done that. Did it once.
So,
Alright, Don't Look Back.
well, make your mind up, John.
Why are you putting the stats down? I've got no idea, because we play them once or twice. We could play them again once
I'm saying,
afterwards,
there's no
and
point
it would be
in,
genius.
there's no point
and then we could play them again afterwards, and it might be
You
really,
make your mind
really
up. What do
shit.
you want to do? Just tell me reverse yourself.
Chillax.
What did you want to do beforehand? You're like, well, why make it this? Like, let's just play stuff, try new stuff. And now we're saying that we can't do this stuff because we don't know it yet. I don't understand your reaction.
Well, it just doesn't seem very libertines, you know what I mean?
No one got it right, no one got it wrong. Live outside your head, live inside a song.
It all did happen pretty quickly. James Endicott's just the guy that we wanted to pin down for a while, you know. And, was waiting for him to return our calls and phone the band and see if there's any news. Because it really was, we really just did want to get signed to Rough Trade. That was what we called Plan A. Plan B was to sign to this little label called High Society, which was like a Hoxton sort of label. I don't think it had any bands in it, apart from the White Sport maybe. And Pete was really wanting to go with Plan B.
Nothing touchy while he's on the phone.